Welcome to Lesson 3 of GUHSD's online course for Google Classroom. In this video, we will start with an assignment overview. We will then take a look at how to manage stream content within Google Classroom, and then we'll move on to discuss how to manage the Classwork tab within Google Classroom. We'll round it out by taking a look at how Google Classroom connects with Google Calendar and Google Drive. Let's take a moment to review the assignment you will complete for this lesson. Students will be able to manage stream tab content, including showing, hiding, or including partial work in the announcements section. We will also learn how to create different activities within the Classwork tab itself, including assignments, quiz assignments, materials, and quizzes. We'll then move on to learning how to customize different activities in the Classwork tab. How can we include media, links, attachments, and connect to Google Drive? How can we assign due dates and assign points? How can we schedule? How can we set draft versions? And how can we save and post? Finally, we'll discuss the organizational features of the Classwork tab, including topics and sequencing assignments within topics. We'll then finish by taking a look at the connection between Google Calendar and Google Drive. Students will demonstrate their learning by matching and sequencing activities in topics in a Google Drawing activity. Finally, students will create and organize a set of sample activities in their sample Google Classroom for this course, and they will be inserting a screenshot as evidence for the process you are exploring right now, and will learn how to manage your class content soon. Under the Apply section, this is where you're going to demonstrate your learning. You will first open by double-clicking the Google Drawing below and drag the Classwork activities on the right under the proper topic on the left. So let's double-click. It's going to open up a Google Drawing. There's one topic here that is unnamed. You'll want to double click this to name the topic appropriately based on the contents underneath. Unit 2 is called Animal Life. So you'll take a look at the content of these lessons or activities to the right, so you'll be able to click and drag them and order them appropriately. Please make sure to take a look at the visual, numerical, and content clues of each assignment so that you can organize it accordingly. Once you're finished, go ahead and click Save and Close. Part A is going to ask you to answer a few reflective questions about your activity. Apply task number 3 is going to ask you to now create and organize a set of activities in your sample Google Classroom. The activities must include at least one of these sample assignments. So maybe you have a certain discipline that you're working in now. Maybe you want to choose one of those assignments. When you click the assignment, it's going to automatically force you to make a copy. Go ahead and take a look at the assignment. Let's take a look at math, for example. It's going to prompt us to make a copy. And here's the assignment that you're going to assign in the sample Google Classroom. Your set of activities also must include one relevant supporting material that could help students build background knowledge of the sample assignment. So it's going to be important that you look at what is the sample assignment, what's the content, what are some key words, what do students might need to know beforehand before they complete this activity. Additionally, the set of activities, you must include one relevant pre-reading question that could help students connect prior knowledge or build engagement for the activity. What questions can you pose to your class to get them thinking about this problem, thinking about this type of work, or elicit interest? All these activities need to be organized within a relevant topic because we want to make sure that the topic is indicative of the content assignments that are inside of it. And lastly, make sure that you consider that the assignments in the topic are ordered in a logical way. When you're finished, you're going to screenshot your Classwork tab that includes all of this work. Here's a sample if you need it. And then you're going to insert that screenshot into this white space below. When you're all finished with these activities for Lesson 3, please be sure to turn in this document into our online course, Google Classroom. Let's take a look at the stream content within Google Classroom. When you log into Google Classroom, both you and your students will be first directed to the stream content. This is the stream here. It contains all the assignments under Classwork that you post. They all become listed here under the stream. You can notice that once you start posting lots of assignments in Classwork, you can see how this stream can become incredibly unwieldy because there's no organization within this stream. You have some options to control the content within this stream. Let's first take a look at the settings over here. So if I click my settings icon, I notice that under stream, I can give students the ability to post and comment within the stream, so they'll have full capability. Their names will be posted, so it won't be anonymous. You can have them only comment on posts that you make, or you can limit it to only teachers can post or comment, in which case students will not be able to respond into the stream or comment on any announcements that you've made as a teacher. Classwork on the stream. So if we look at the stream here, and students can post and comment, if we enable this feature, let's go ahead and click here, go ahead and click Save. So for example, if I have an announcement that I've made, good morning class, tell me how you're doing, then head over to the Classwork tab. If we look at the student view, student logs into Google Classroom, they see the announcement at the top, tell me how you're doing, then head to the Classwork tab. So if I'm a student, click here, I make my response, I post as a student, Eric Brown, that's my name as a student. I can post another comment if I want to as a student. And again, the reason that I can do this as a student is because under the teacher, students can post and comment. If you don't want students to post and comment on any of your announcements, then you can do only teachers can post or comment. Once I save those settings, if I go back to my student view and I refresh, notice the same announcement, I no longer have the ability to add comments to the stream. One of the things about the stream that can get really messy over time is that all these assignments are listed here. Imagine all the work you have in classwork, it's going to populate automatically here. So what we want to take and do is we want to control the content that shows up in the stream. So let's go back to settings. Now let's take a look at classwork in the stream. If you want to show all attachments and details, you can. One of the recommendations, if you don't want anything in the stream at all, except for announcements that you post as a teacher, because you want students to respond to them, then you're going to click Hide Notifications. What this will do is now if we go back to our stream, we notice that there's none of the assignments. None of the classwork that I post in classwork for students to see shows up in the stream. This might be nice, especially if you're posting all of your work in classwork. It's nice and organized under topics. Students know the procedures and the protocols and the sequence, where if they go to the stream, like we saw before, it can become a mess over time. So hiding those notifications is a nice way to clean up your stream, and then use it specifically maybe for certain types of announcement interactions you want to have with your students. We're now going to take a look at the Classwork tab. The Classwork tab is where you put all of your assignments, questions, and materials for students to complete. So I see we have a sample here, we have a sample topic, and we have 2 assignments. This is the icon for assignments. I have a question I want students to also answer. That's a question mark. And I have a sample material. Consider sample materials like resources. To start creating content here into assigning work, we're going to go ahead and create, and we're going to start with assignment. So if we we create an assignment, we can assign it to multiple classes at the same time by checking multiple classes. And I can assign it to individual students, or I can assign it to all students. Go ahead and give it a title. Any instructions get posted here. The only formatting you can do, a nice thing is I would use caps and then enter down, so you can see a little bit of the formatting that can create some separation to start chunking your directions for your students. You can change the point total, you can have it ungraded, or you can change the point total manually if you want to. You can set a due date for your assignment. You can optionally put a time. And then you can assign it a topic. If you don't have a topic yet, because let's say I want to make a new topic, you can create a new topic. After I've done that, if I have an assignment that's in Google Drive, I can simply locate it within my Google Drive, add the assignment, and now I have a choice here. For assignments, I can have students simply view the file, they cannot edit it. I can give students access to edit the file if I wanted to crowdsource information. If this is an individual assignment, I can make a copy for each student. Each student will get their own individual copy, and it'll automatically name it for them in the title of the document itself. So I'm going to give each student a copy because I want each student to individually complete it. I can add multiple pieces of media inside here if I wanted to. So for my science sample, I can add media inside. So here's the assignment I give my students, and maybe this is a resource that helps support this assignment here. I can also add links. So maybe you want to put an article in here, maybe you want to put a website link. And I can also attach files. So if you're working with PDFs, this may be an area, or you have separate images, this may be an area where you can insert files like PDFs and JPEGs or PNGs. Before I assign it, there's a couple different options to take a look at. I can assign it directly now, I can schedule it to be assigned on a certain date and time, or I can save this as a draft so I can continue to work on it later because I'm not quite ready to assign it yet. If I'm ready to assign, I click assign. Some other options we have are we can create questions, we can create materials, which would be links to resources, and then we can individually create topics as well. So if we look at topic number 1, I have 2 assignments that I've given to the students, assignment 1 and assignment 2. I've also included a question because I want maybe them to introduce themselves, maybe I want them to get started thinking about the assignment itself, maybe I want to have some pre-reading questions, and maybe I have some supporting materials like links to YouTube videos or links to other articles or links to other Google Docs that in fact have information they're going to use to complete assignment activities 1 and 2. So lots of different types here. Notice the organization I have. Some options I have within here are I can move these assignments up and down. Another way is you can click and drag them. So let's say that I want question 1 to come first because this is a pre-reading question that's going to relate to assignment 1. If I want to move assignments within topics, I can click and drag them and move to different topics. And if I want to move topics with the assignments in them, I can simply click and I can move topics around as well. This is going to be useful for as time goes on, you're going to want to move your topics around because they may be Unit 1, Unit 2, and you want to put the most recent at the very top to make it as easy for your kids to access it as they can. Another option that you have here, if we could Google Calendar within the Classwork tab, it's going to pop off to your Google Calendar. Each Google Classroom has a corresponding Google Calendar where the assignments are listed for when they're going to be due. Additionally, if we click Class Drive folder, each Google Classroom that you make gets its own folder within a new Classroom folder that shows up in your Google Drive. So all the assignments that you post in Google Classroom get a corresponding automatically created Google Drive folder. So if we find sample period 2, here's the sample assignment 1. I assigned it, and here's Eric Brown's. All of my students' work will show up here. So it's another way to store your information. If you delete a classroom, these files will not be deleted. If you archive a classroom, these files will not be archived. These will always be accessible to you, regardless of if you continue using this Google Classroom or not.